All right, welcome to the 7th episode of the Creative Masterminds Podcast.
Believe that.
The Fire Podcast.
Fire.
For sure. You got Sean Breeze here in the place.
Cash 3. What's happening?
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. We really do appreciate it. Of course, our normal format is us discussing our week in review, and then we hop into our different subjects. Our first subject that we're going to talk about is choices, and then the second subject is going to be talking about or focus on having the proper mindset. Hopefully I said that correctly, right?
Most definitely. Yeah, mindset for sure and attitude. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and jump into our week in review. Cass, if you can start, or I'm going to hand it off to you so you can talk about your week, and then I can piggyback off of you for sure.
No doubt. Yeah, it was a pretty busy week. Actually, last Thursday was the last day of my job at Fujitsu where I was working.
Oh, congratulations.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah. So it was just time for a change. Needed more time with my family, making sure my sons, are in the position to do well in school and, going to bed at the right hour and all of that. And, also being able to put time in and put work in, hard work in the areas that I want to go forward with in my career and in life, which, is like the music production, DJing, and of course this podcast is first it started out as, fun and like a therapy, getting it out, but
yeah,
I'm 100% into it. I was then, but even more so now, like it, I love doing it. I realized this is something that I could see myself doing as well, for like a career. So that was the big thing, but just a normal day-to-day thing, family thing. I did create a track. I hadn't produced a track in a while, but I did get in the studio and make something that was
fire.
Yeah, it was respectable.
Okay, respectable. a little rust in there.
It's not done, so
Okay.
we'll see how it turns out. But
That's good.
But yeah, that's how how the week went. It was a good week, blessed, and glad to be back to let y'all know what was going on.
That's good. And I like to say that I like the reason behind you leaving your job.
Mm-hmm.
You said first and foremost making sure that your family is good. That's what I got from you talking about, like making sure that you have your kids tucked in bed on time, and just making sure that the unit is good. And I'll say from experience, like being without a job and focusing on your passion and focusing on my passion and dreams and stuff like that, it definitely makes me want to be a better man, and it motivates me to make sure that the household is taken care of, that I got the kitchen, or I got the whole house looking clean and spiffy.
Yeah.
I'm making sure that my wifey is good, and making sure that the dog is good. That's all we got to worry about right now. Hopefully kids in the future, maybe
for
next
sure.
year. Praying for it. We'll see what happens.
Take your time, man.
Yeah.
Take your time.
I'm low key ready. I'm like, come on, baby, let's go right now. But of course, we want to do the right thing.
Most definitely.
And get married first, and we're gonna get married, a month or so from now, and so it's coming. But
Most definitely.
for me, this past week, I've been really chilling on it. Been doing some deep dives, some more self discovery. I've been reading this book called The 7 Laws of Spiritual Success by Deepak Chopra.
Deepak.
And just like trying to fine-tune myself and just learning things about myself that I believe is potentially hindering me from becoming as successful as I want to be. So one thing that I read in the book that was pretty profound to me was the importance of realizing the amount of choices I make. And this is actually going to be a subject that we're going to deep dive into a little bit later, but
yeah,
I just want to do like a little prelude of sorts to kind of just drop that there. So yeah, I've been like this whole week trying to figure out like what are the choices that I'm making, like the choices that I'm not conscious, or I'm not at that time conscious enough to be aware. Like I would say sometimes I would habitually choose to go play video games as opposed to go make a beat. Sometimes I would choose to not go to the gym and work out. Instead, I'll just stay at home and chill out with my wifey, which is pretty cool and everything. However, I noticed that, all right, when I go to the gym and exercise and get my physical activity on in the morning, I'm generally a happier, more upper spirited type of person, and I'm more motivated to knock out things throughout the day.
Yeah.
And so it's like I've been really doing like I said, deep dive, trying to figure out ways I can tweak the different choices that I make during my day to day to help improve myself and help become better as a creator, as a person, as an individual in general, I would say.
And self-evaluation.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And the thing is, like, I know we've been talking about that for the past few weeks, but I'm like very heavy on self-evaluation. I'm very heavy on having a BS radar and trying to make sure that I identify all the BS that I have or that I have been carrying with me for way too long, like my BS in procrastinating, my BS in not doing things on time, not being on time to things. I'm in this very serious mode to just fine-tune myself and to really just transform myself to be the person that I imagine myself to be. And that's all in my mind and not necessarily dependent on what other people say or what other people think. It's like that. It's all about how I see myself as a person and how I can morph to be that person.
That's what it takes, man. And when do you think you started doing that or realized that's like a key thing, to attack or to go at,
I would say for sure it became very amplified once I left my job because at that point there's no more excuses, right? Yeah, a lot of people use their job as an excuse. They'll say, well, I can't do something because I have to work. I can't do something because the job is on my back and everything,
the bills
and type of stuff. And so once I once I removed that as an excuse, it was like, all right, I'm still doing these bad behaviors like being late or procrastinating and doing all these terrible things that I don't want to do personally because I feel bad as a person. I find myself still doing these things and I realize that, oh man, bro, you need to knock this stuff out and I need to knock it out now as opposed to later because I realize or I believe that at some point in time, those behaviors will catch up and then cause me to lose out on opportunities that I should be getting.
Yeah,
I hate to use that word "should" because nothing's promised. Nothing's promised to you at all. However, like there's some times where you can have an opportunity presented to you, and if you're not prepared for the opportunity, then the opportunity will pass you by.
Most definitely.
And so, yeah, I've been doing some more deep diving. Played some more basketball this week. I actually won a game. I did lose twice though to this stocky dude, little short dude, man. But the dude had super duper range, and he taught me some things too, like about being a one-dimensional person. Like, cause the only thing I could do at the time was drive to the hole, but I couldn't shoot the shot, or I didn't have no type of jumper. My jumper was dry. It was not wet at all.
It wasn't healthy.
It was Arizona dry. It was super duper. It was terrible. And so he made me get into the gym, which I did today, and work on my jumper. And my jumper is looking pretty nice, and I'm gonna work on it again this week because I want to be solid at basketball for some reason. Basketball was a sport that I played as a kid, and then I just stopped playing. However, I still have a love for it. And I really do love getting back into like sports, and I'll say like just to add like a moment of some education or something that can help people, but like playing contact sport, or I'm not sure if basketball is a contact sport, but playing the sport has like helping like with the
it's physical.
It's physical.
Yeah.
It's you get to compete with somebody, and it's. You're in somebody's presence. You're not on like a video game, or you're not talking to people via phone or whatever. Like it's you mano y mano, and whoever's the best. I don't know. It's like for some reason that has been like a good positive influence on me, and so I would definitely play more basketball. But yeah, all in all, my week was pretty cool, pretty chill, pretty low key. I did make some beats as well. I made some beats in Reason and Logic. I just been playing around with different DAWs. I actually did complete a beat, got it fully arranged, and I'm gonna put that out pretty soon. And I've just been working on more so creating more and more content and putting it out there. I'll say one last thing though before we go into the subjects. I'm just gonna bring up the story because I think it's a hilarious story as far as like your expectations and having like your I guess checking your expectations, or maybe if you are going to do something, maybe do some research before you do it. For example, like, so I went to this event and I was invited by this young lady who I met a week prior. But anyway, how she explained to me, I thought the event would be photographers and models when we all just link up and just chop it up and network. And the event was more so like a photography class. And also how she brought it up to me, or maybe I thought because she was a person of color, I thought that the event was going to be a super duper diverse event. However, it wasn't really diverse at all. It was like more so like the retiree age people who are like into photography, like basically like 50 plus year old Caucasian people. And I don't know, it was so random, or it was so funny to me because I expected like this event to be a certain way, but it wasn't. However, it still was a valuable event, and I guess I'll leave that to a lesson learned, which is like, just because something is not what you expected doesn't mean like it's not going to be something of value, because I did learn some good things in the photography world, which was like posing and also a little bit stuff about lighting, but more importantly posing, and also did get to network with some people.
Nice.
And so I know it's kind of a random story, but I just thought it was like super duper hilarious that I thought that this event was going to be super duper diverse with younger kids, maybe from like 20 to 30, but it was like 50-year-old people. And
that's a big difference though.
It was a big difference. I was a big shock, and it was a shocker. However,
you walked up in there like,
okay. And it's funny because everybody else was like obviously beginners. However, the teacher, he kind of just sensed that I was more of a expert at it, or more of a pro at it, maybe because he saw my gear that I use. Right. And so, but if that's happened to you, just stick with it and try your best to figure out a way to learn something. But I ran on long enough. All right, and let's just hop into the subjects. And I would say let's hop into having the proper mindset first, and then we can talk about choices. We lead it like that. All right, Chauncey, talk about mindset and having a proper mindset, and how a proper mindset will help you in the long run with your life and success.
Yeah, the mindset and attitude is very important, I believe. The book, it's by Carol DeWick. It's called Mindset, and she breaks it down how that is very important for leading into successful ways of experiencing life and the things that you do, your activities, and the way you go about that. So the mindset, of course, it's the positive and negative. Those that way of thinking is is key.
No, I kind of did that because it made me think about like even with your mindset, it's like the importance of having some type of self-awareness to be even aware of like your current mindset in the moment, if that makes sense. It's like I know you practice meditation and everything, and like in the whole meditation world, you have to focus on being the observer and not the observed, that type of thing. I think that's how they kind of word things. But anyway, what I'm leading to is like sometimes I can have like a negative mindset, a negative mentality, and now I'm at a point where I can be conscious and aware that, oh shoot, my mentality or my mindset is hella negative and it's not in a productive, constructive form that will lead me to having success. I guess, like, are there some things that you do to help like flip your mindset to change it, like when you're aware that you're not having the right mindset at the moment?
For sure, yeah. Definitely, because we have so many thoughts that pass by our minds, and things that come up, things that we see that influence that as well. So when that happens, if it's just a negative thought or something that I want to be far away from, I don't want to entertain it at all, then I'll try to think of the opposite of that and flip it. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I like that.
I'll flip it, like do the reciprocal of it, and that way it'll cancel that out, because I believe like the more you entertain a negative thought or a positive,
True.
the more you give it energy, and then you give it a chance to manifest or to grow, or
that's true.
Or even just dwelling on it, because
that's true.
I think a lot, you know what I'm saying? So I'm inside thinking and going over things a lot of throughout the day. So the more you dwell on negative things and all that, that's going to impact your day to day. And I think it could bring forth positive energy and things like that, or negative. So I try to stay in a positive light of, anything I come across. I try to look at it in a positive light, and that's the mindset thing, and your attitude as well, because networking and meeting new people and just being out day to day with your kids or with the wife or with your family, your mom, whatever it may be, your attitude, will dictate how you feed off of each other and theirs as well. Like, if they,
true.
Yeah, if they Very have that, attitude that is conflicting with yours, then, you might need to take a break and, get away from it or whatever, get away, from that situation and regroup and, let simmer down and come back to your center. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying? So
yeah, I really like the part that you said, that like focusing on that negative thought, like it's like feeding it energy. It's like giving it more room to grow. You're giving it space to grow within your mind, and then it can then take over and overcome. And like that's why it is so important to be a person who is self-aware, and you're able to identify when you're not in a great mood or you have a bad mindset, and figure out ways that you can flip that for yourself. Like for me, like if I'm in a negative zone or negative mindset, I'll go outside and just chill out and listen to the wind, and then listen to the nature, listen to the birds chirp, and then that calms me down. Or if that's not enough, I'll go for a run and then be around nature and let that calm me down, let that change my mindset.
It's fresh air, and
for sure, I can't say how important it is to be self-aware and be able to identify your mindset if it's in a bad place, and then knowing yourself good enough to be able to flip that mindset into a positive one. And also be mindful enough to not let your negative mindset take over, and where you can cause others to have negative mindset just by being around you and being able to manage your energy like that. I think that's very important. I think that's something that most people don't try to be cognitive of, or cognitive. I mess up that word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I'm saying, that most people don't really think about that.
Yeah, and it's contagious, I believe, too.
Absolutely, because I'm pretty sure, like, I guess I'll bring up childhood memories. Like there'll be sometimes that maybe mom will come home that she not feeling that great, and then the whole house mood kind of changes and stuff like that, And so actually that's like one of the things that mama, don't kill me. No, mama, don't kill me. But I'm saying, like, it's one thing that I'm very cognitive of, and that I try to be mindful of, that I don't have a mode or a type of chip on my shoulder that I come into the household that I don't affect anybody and cause people to be angry and stuff like that. My mama now is a sweetheart. She was a sweetheart back then too. Not saying that you weren't a sweetheart. I'm just saying, mama, I love you, and do not kill me.
We love the mothers out there.
Yeah, just giving an example that sometimes mom will come home like, I understand she'll work for the man. So hey, and so that is what it is.
Yeah.
But I like that. It is very important to have a good mindset and be aware of your mindset. So I guess I'll go ahead and lead into my topic, unless you want to share more.
I would just say
I'll wrap it up. Yeah.
That you're talking what we're leading into, but being conscious of the thoughts that come through your mind and like having like a security gate or whatever, the stopping those bad thoughts. True. So if you can check it at the gate and then flip it like to its reciprocal or whatever, like, oh, it's whatever a bad thought, negative thought is, like, I might go out and have a wreck or something like that, then flip that thought like, oh, well, what if I go out and go out and help somebody change a tire or whatever. So just flipping it on the opposite. And so that thought right there was checked at the gate and then flipped, and it didn't have a chance to grow or go any further and mess up your day, or you know what I'm saying, have you in fear, living in fear. Because this is another subject all to itself. Fear is it's the opposite of faith, and it's a terrible thing, and it's I think that's a thing that can attack the health of a person, and many other things. It's just a very negative thing, you know.
And I know it is a totally different subject, or need to be a episode within itself. About fear. But the thing is, with fear, it can be so damn tricky as to like.
True.
Like realizing that it's just fear that you're fearing. Like for instance, like we talked about it offline about like with me getting more into rapping, and I had like concerns about my fiance's family maybe looking at me kind of differently because of my raps. Is not going to be cookie cutter. It's not going to be candy. It's going to be me, my truth. If it's rage, it's rage. If it's not, it's not. But it's going to be me and everything and my truth. And that may rub some people the wrong way. However, I realized that was just me, really my ego. I had a fear of disrupting this image that I created. And that really a role that I'm playing of sorts. And I realized I needed to really remove that fear and just be me and just be who I am, and allow whatever ramifications that come with it. Hopefully, or I believe that it will be all good, because I believe truth is the way, it's the pathway, it's the only route that a person should take, I would say, and that will lead you to greater pastures. I'm not just saying crazy words like that, but I think you get my point that truth is the way for sure. And so, I know we kind of hammered that down, but to the point, like fear is something that you have to be mindful of, and you have to really do some self-evaluation to figure out if you're doing something because of fear or not.
And I think it's the root of a lot of like negative thinking, and just a lot of like that mindset, you know, where that could lead to failure or success. That fear, and again, it's the positive and negative. I mean, that's the balance, like the yin and yang of life, you know, that positive or negative, fear, faith, success, failure, all those type of things. So it's a dichotomy, you know.
Exactly. So, all right, let's go ahead and lead into choices. You can choose to fear things, or you can choose to just hit it, like go directly at it and then overcome your fears. That's my segue to the part I'm talking about.
Bang.
Or that's my segue to the topic of being as cognitive. I'm gonna get that word, cognitive, or mindful of the choices that you make throughout your day.
Conscious.
Conscious. Yeah. There you go. That's way better. Being conscious of the choices that you make throughout your day. And these small ones, I'm talking about the, like, all right, for breakfast, should I have this apple, or should I have this bacon upon bacon sandwich, or something like that, or something
cereal,
cereal or sugar, or all these type of things. Like, just being super duper conscious of the choices that you make throughout your day, because I believe that the amount of success that you have in your life depends on how cognitive how conscious you are of the choices that you make throughout your day to day. Like, for instance, like I stated earlier, I think I said this earlier, but I had to be more mindful and choose not to get on the video game and instead of doing that, go make some beats. I choose to not just lay in bed. I choose to just get up and then go exercise. I got to make these different choices, these little day-to-day choices that I know for sure will benefit me in the long run. It's like a compound effect of sorts, that all these choices lead up to something. And you are where you are currently in your life because of the amount of choices that you made in your past and your prior. And so if you're not in a great place at this moment, you probably need to do some self-evaluation and determine, all right, what choices am I making? What choices are taking me away from where I want to be? And what's taking me to it? And so I say for me, like me making better choices as to like me wanting to be around my family and friends more. Me choosing to go ahead and be a part of the podcast, and us choosing together to create this podcast, and now we're bringing it to you, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it. And if you are, just let us know. We really do appreciate it. And just trying to be as mindful as possible with the choices that you make. And I get down into the weeds with it, man. I really do try to make sure that I make very, 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 very smart choices so I can be in the position that I envision myself to be in. And so,
man, I agree with that 100%. And the way you were describing all that, it made me think back of like to the word, in the Bible and stuff. It talks about, that God gave us dominion over, the earth and over the animals and all of that. And it, like, when I'm praying or meditating, when I'm having my time with the Lord, the Most High, I ask that I use what He's blessed me with and have, He helps me have dominion over or use it right. It's like a management that I have the right time management and that I manage it the right way. That which He's blessed me with, that's under my control. My family, my children, my job or whatever. That I have good time management and just manage it well. Because if you do that, then the rest will fall in line. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, and I think that's very important. But that's what just came to my mind. Like, it's like dominion. We've been given dominion. Everybody's been given dominion over certain things, whatever it may be, and it's the right choices and managing that the right way. And the better we master that or get better at doing that, the better our life will be, or better our lifestyle will be. The better we'll be able to help others and. That's what I believe, though. That's what I was getting from it.
Nah, 100% agree. It's funny because I kind of thought about that last night when I saw my wifey and our dog. We spoil our dog. We allowed a dog to get on the couch. I know it's so bad. I know it's terrible. So we allowed the damn dog to get on the couch, and so basically my wifey, she sleep and the dog is like all cuddle up with her and everything. And I just looked at them. I had a moment like, oh shoot, like, me as the man of the house, like I gotta make sure that this is good, that we can be able to survive, or like I feel responsible for this unit.
Yeah.
And that it's of course it's on me as in a lot of ways as to if we're be able to be good or not. And especially like with me doing my entrepreneur thing and me being the creator and everything, it's like it was a moment for sure that like, oh shoot, like
it's go time. Like
exactly. It's like you gotta like
live right now.
You can't be baby boy now. That's what really came in my head. Like you can't be baby boy now. You got to be a grown ass man and take care of responsibility and take care of the household.
Straight up.
And with that, I felt empowered. Like, yeah, you know what? No, let me go ahead and get on my job. Let me make sure I'm 100% more focused than what I was before, and let me make sure that this household is taken care of, and that nobody will want for anything, like even the damn dog, because the dog had like an ear ache, ear effect that costs money and stuff like that. So we gotta make sure the dog is good. But yeah, it's like it made me want to make way better choices for sure.
I got you.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I'm gonna say like just tag on, then you can go ahead and run with it. Just like because I'll say find some motivation as to why you should make better choices. I think that may help. Maybe you have a accountability partner that you link up with every week or every so often that say, hey, what's up? What are you doing right now? Or hey, why you make this choice? That type of thing. And just trying to find ways to encourage yourself to make better choices. The floor is yours.
Yeah, for sure, man. And that I think that leads right into like with back. I don't want to go back to fear or whatnot, but
go back to it, man. It's a big thing
because from what you're saying, you know, like for you to say like it's go time and to accept the challenge and all that, that's what we got to do. And it came across somewhere. I don't know if it was in the book I was reading, but it just got a little insight where it was saying like even like back in school early on, like kids, you know, there's two different kinds of kids, or it's the way that they divide it. But
interesting.
There's one kid that will you know, be open to learning new things and you know, will accept challenges and all that. And then another one will, you know, with school and all, we have these tests and these different things, so they won't show up. Like they'll shy away. And I probably did this during school where you got to step up to the plate. Yeah. And you know, you got to do the test or whatever. So it's like, well, oh, you're trying to you know, put me to the test. You're trying to classify me as this or whatever, like with the SAT or with any kind of test or whatever. I hate the SAT, man. Yeah, I just did enough to get by. I'm not going to front, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't accepting the challenge. I wasn't, you know, giving my all to it. But there's the other kids that will, you know, give their all and accept the challenge. And I think it's imperative to learn to do that early on, but it's not, I mean, eventually you will in your own time. Like now you are, you know that it's go time. Myself, it was the same thing. Like when I had kids and my wife and all that, it's like, it's go time. You have to step up to the plate now. But early on, some kids, you know, they do that before then in school, but some shy away. But that just is what came to my mind, is like the realization that it's go time. It's live. I'm gonna put 100% in. I'm gonna step up to the plate and take care and manage what I have control over, what I have dominion over, and you know that's it's choices. Back to that, you know what I'm saying?
Facts, man. That's dope, man. I think we had a pretty fiery discussion about choices and having the proper mindset. And I think even the discussion about having the proper mindset leads greatly into choices, and because you want to have a good mindset before you make a choice. Yeah, a choice that can impact you for the rest of your life, that type of thing, for sure. Now we're at the tail end of our podcast, and at this part, we're going to give some tips to up-and-coming podcasters, people who are starting their podcasts, and we just want to help people, you know, get their voice out, get their voice heard however we can. And so we just want to share some tips to you guys on.
We just want 10% of whatever you make.
Absolutely, you know, Square Cash me, you know what I'm saying? The Breeze Life.
PayPal,
yeah, I think the Breeze Life is Square Cash, you know what I'm saying? Hit that up. But yeah, so I guess I'll go ahead and go first. Oh, no, you can go first because I think my part was tied into your tip.
Okay.
Yeah, my part was tied into your tip. So go ahead.
Yeah, so my tip would be getting feedback. You know, when you are posting it out, or whether it be social media or promoting it, then asking for feedback that way, but also getting feedback from your family, your friends, people that are close to you, and give an honest take on what, you know, your podcast and what you're putting out, your content, and will give you that feedback that is feedback is very valuable. So you know, because even with ours, like you know, shout out to Moms. She gave me some pretty good feedback, like saying that because our earlier podcasts were a little bit longer, about an hour and a half maybe, and she said maybe you want to look into cutting it down a little bit and you know, get into the you know, giving them the topics and all that, but then cutting it a little bit shorter because people's attention span these days, So, we talked about it. Mm-hmm. We agreed upon it. And so we made them a little bit shorter to give y'all the content and get straight to it. And we'll give you more content at a shorter segment. So that's my tips.
Of course, to add on to that, not only receive those tips, but then work them into the podcast. Like a lot of people, they'll receive some tips, but they never do anything about it. Like we receive tips, we receive feedback, and then we incorporate the feedback, and then you check and adjust again. You're like, all right, so we incorporate the feedback. How do you like it now? And then kind of do it from then and there. I would say also be a harsh critic on yourself. Mm-hmm. I am a very harsh critic. I watched the first few episodes a few times, well, more than a few times, because I also go through the editing part of it. However, it was a lot of things that became like very aware to me. Like, for instance, the amount of times I say the amount of times that I ramble and run through words, all these different things that I was able to spot out and made me want to eliminate totally from the podcast. And so just critiquing myself has helped me become a better speaker, a better orator. I think that's the word for it. And so, don't be afraid to be a harsh critic on yourself. Demand greatness on yourself, or demand greatness from yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. With that said, that's it for the topics. And we're at the end of the Creative Masterminds Podcast. Cass, go ahead and give out your social media.
You can catch me on IG at CAS_THREE.
Yep. You can catch me on Instagram at Sean Breeze, OG Sean Breeze on Twitter and Facebook. The Creative Masterminds on SoundCloud, the Creative Masterminds on Instagram as well. Follow us. We're going to have a Facebook page pretty soon, I think.
Yeah.
And I think on there, if they allow, we will post the video version of the podcast. I think that will make it more easily accessible to a lot of people, especially our Facebook fam, because I think a lot of our family members live on Facebook at the moment. So
right, yeah,
we're gonna do it like that. And so
episode 7, we'll holler at y'all.
Episode 7, peace.